So Rivian was having an event last week to introduce their new R2 to the world and surprised everyone with the R3 and the R3X sporty ones. I decided it was time to talk about these two products and what I think about them, and specifically whether I think they're going to have an impact in the actual marketplace. Welcome back to All Cars, y'all. I am John, and first off, we have to address that tiny little elephant in the room, which is I don't really talk about Rivian on this channel. It's not really intentional as much as just hasn't lined up with my interests and the videos I wanted to put out there. I have nothing against them. I actually am pulling for them, although they're going through kind of a rough part right now. But originally, they were just another EV manufacturer out there, and personally, I found Canoo or Vinfast far more fascinating, even Fisker for that matter. I've mentioned Rivian on the channel, but I've never done a video about one of their products. Because, well, they came out with the van that they use for Amazon. Okay, I'm not going to buy one of those, so that doesn't really interest me. The R1T came out. It's pretty cool, but tons of information, and I'm not really looking for a high-priced, somewhat mid-sized electric truck. They came out with the R1S, which is a large SUV, and it looks pretty cool, but again, doesn't really align with anything that I wanted to talk about, nor did I really think it moved the needle on anything. The only real memorable thing there was the truck kind of beating the F-150 electric to the marketplace. And they've been struggling along. They were going to roll out their own, quote, dealerships, right, their service centers to sell, and they decided to switch to a dealership model and starting to push that. They were going to expand down into Georgia, but they put that on indefinite hiatus. And their stock price has been struggling. And so just not a lot there that's really great news or really bad. And the R2 being released didn't really raise my radar at all either. But then they introduced this R3, and I'm super, super excited about it. And it is the vehicle that's gotten most of the press that we've been seeing and most of the videos from other people about it as well. So let's talk about the R2 real quick, and then we need to get to the R3. That's what we need to talk about here. Now, the R2 is basically the size of a Model Y. TFL EV says it's about 1 inch shorter. There's a little bit of information out there on their website. It's supposed to have somewhere over 300 miles range, at least as an option, and going to be over-ish 45,000. So this is going to be, I think, very competitive with the Model Y. I do think it's styled better than the Model Y. We'll wait to find out if it's nearly as efficient as the Model Y, and I think it looks super cool inside. And I feel that I've seen the rear end somewhere else before recently. Anyway, with only having one factory and not building the one down in Georgia to conserve funds, that's going to have to be built at the current factory as well. And I think it's probably, if they get those dealerships rolling out there, it's going to be a pretty good seller. I think people looking at the Model Y are going to think, well, maybe the Rivian's an answer. Now, one of the things I want to say about the styling is I've always hated Rivian's front ends. I just don't like them, but they've become more familiar now. And so once you see them on the truck and then you see them on a sport utility and another one, it's getting more familiar, and it's certainly become the face of their vehicles. At least I don't find it repulsive anymore. I don't love it, but it wouldn't keep me out of one of their vehicles. My problem with the R2 is they are falling into the same problem that I think a lot of manufacturers are, which is they're going right at the middle meat of the market. Not only do you have the Model Y out there, which is kind of the dominant player, but Chevy's come out with not only the Equinox EV that's coming out, the Blazer EV's coming out, competitive or not. Vinfast has come out with their VF8. The Area is out there. This is the Model E, the Mach-E, excuse me. This is the middle part of the market where the money really makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, that means it's really congested with a lot of products that are all kind of similar. And so I think Rivian will have a harder time standing out, certainly not being a big name like Chevy or Ford or Tesla. They're going to have a little bit of a hard time standing out. And that's where we get to the R3. This is pretty freaking exciting, as a matter of fact. I am super, super excited about this vehicle. There's only one other thing out there that I think really kind of lines up with it. One of them would be maybe the Ioniq 5. I think that looks super cool, but not exactly the same. I think the EX30 from Volvo kind of falls in the same category, but we don't have a lot of information about what Rivian's going to be positioning the R3 in terms of range and price. We just don't know, and we don't know where it's coming. It looks in video, and again, TFL EV even said this, it looks production ready, but they say it's not. This is exciting because that would be an entry into a portion of the marketplace that, number one, prices need to be lower to help produce some EV adoption, to get more people interested. And this size is not a compact, a busy part of the marketplace right now. There's not a lot of entries out there. So they have a chance, if they can get this out, to really stand out in the marketplace with a non-luxury, not Volvo product that really could capture a lot of things. And what has really stood out to a lot of almost every review I've read, everything I've read, is the nostalgia of the styling. It's been compared favorably to a Mk1 Golf, to an Omni, not favorably to a Yugo, and to a lot of Nivea. I believe it's a Nivea out there. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and this would be a vehicle I'd be very proud to have in my driveway if the price was right and the range was right too. I think they have the chance for a real home run here. I truly do. The question is, how soon can it get to market? What's that price and the performance going to be, the range going to be, and will they be able to produce it in enough volume if they're producing everything at one factory? I think that's going to become part of their problem, is if they really release this in the R3X, which is the more performance-oriented version, and I think, honestly, just looks ridiculous with the styling they've done to it. I don't know that they're going to be able to produce enough to do much. Maybe show investors that they have enough cash flow to go complete that factory, begin that factory down in Georgia. But that leaves them with a problem that's a good problem. If they can get production up, and if they can sell in adequate enough numbers, if they can become profitable and begin growing, this type of product, it's going to be a race against time. They need to be able to get it out, get production up, get that profitability, get the numbers up. And if they can do that, I think they can start to suck some of the air out of the less expensive portion. I'm not going to say affordable, but less expensive portion of the compact EVs. Because there's several other manufacturers that have been talking about it, but nothing's coming out. Let's talk about Vinfast for a minute. Now, they've been rightly criticized for their reliability, their quality, software issues, and there's a lot of pictures out there, if you haven't seen them, of the axles just randomly breaking on the road. They've got a lot of quality issues they've got to work through, while at the same time they're trying to build out an entire lineup. And there's a lot of excitement about one of their little ones, which would be much smaller than the R3. A lot of excitement about it. Dealers are desperately wanting it. But who knows how many years away it is, and if it's going to be a quality product when it gets here. Tesla has been promising a Model 2 for years, and right now it appears to be just vaporware, although there's rumors it's coming probably in the next couple of years with some of the new factories they've been doing here. But this gives Rivian a genuine opportunity to go capture this space, because if you look at a lot else out there, certainly from Tesla or GM or Ford, other than the Bolt that might be coming out in the future, there's nothing else playing down in this area. I don't think it'll jump down to the $27,000, $28,000 that the Bolt was. That's unfortunate. It would be cool if it did. I think it'll end up more in that 35-ish range, which will still make it a little pricey for some people. But they have a genuine opportunity. There's just a lot of pitfalls for them to get there. I'm excited about it. I'm curious to see what you say about it. Thanks for being here, guys.